Am I the a-hole for still getting on a flight home when my two young co-workers I was traveling with weren't at the airport yet and were obviously going to miss it? Plus updates. Original post. This past week, I was presented with an industry award in Nashville that an agency partner nominated me for. I am a director at my company. My company decided to send two junior-level employees to the event as well because they thought it would be a good experience for them. A specialist who has been with us a little over a year, 25 female fresh out of college, and a summer intern, 21 female, a rising senior. They are not on my team, report up through a separate VP, and I have very limited or no interaction with them in daily work life. They were very excited to be going. This was going to be the specialist's first time on a plane, with lots of Teams chats asking what to wear, etc. We were flying in Thursday morning and leaving Friday evening, so it was a very short trip, but I tried to help share info about the event, types of attendees, awards reception or presentation Thursday night with a country western theme. Then I was speaking on a panel Friday morning. There's so much I could say, but I'll try to highlight key points. The specialist barely made the Thursday morning flight because she doesn't have a real ID and had to do extra screening. She had no idea what a real ID was or the basic rules of flying, liquid restrictions, etc. She was very upset they made her throw away some of her skincare that was over 3 ounces. Thursday night's event was a country western theme, and while a majority of people there were business casual, the intern showed up in a bandana tube top, micro skirt, cowboy boots, and a cowboy hat. I pulled her aside and asked if she wanted to run upstairs and change since it was still a business event, but she said she was fine and thought she looked cute and on theme. After the ceremony, I invited them to join me with some colleagues I knew from other companies in the hotel bar, but they told me they wanted to check out Broadway. I made a face and said this would be a good networking opportunity. They made "come on mom" jokes, so I told them to be safe and reminded them of the time and location of the first session the next day. I texted them around 11 p.m. that I hoped they got back safe. No response. Went to bed, texted them the next morning offering to meet for coffee before the morning sessions. No response. No idea if they actually attended any sessions or saw my panel, but I did find them in the hotel lobby afterward looking incredibly hungover. We had about 2 hours after the event ended before we needed to go to the airport, so I invited them to a late lunch with our agency partners. They declined because they wanted to go to the Country Music Hall of Fame. Again, I made a face and said I didn't know if they'd have time and thought it would be a good opportunity for them to spend time with our agency. They acted like I was the wet blanket, so I told them I was leaving for the airport from the hotel at 4 p.m. sharp and to meet me in the lobby so we could share a lift. I texted them at 3:45 p.m. that the lift was arriving in 15 minutes. No response. Texted them that the lift had arrived and I was leaving for the airport. No response. Texted them when I got to the airport and told them the security line was long, neither had pre-check. No response. Texted them when I got to the gate to please give me some sign of life. The intern sent a very short response about 10 minutes later. In lift, there's traffic. Nothing else. Texted them that the flight was starting to board. No response. Texted them when I was in my seat that boarding was about to end. No response. Doors closed. They didn't make it. I put my phone in airplane mode. Landed a couple of hours later to a barrage of texts from them. They were stranded in Nashville, didn't know what to do, how to rebook, who to call for help, etc. I also had an angry voicemail from the specialist's mom saying I abandoned her daughter in Nashville, that she had never flown before and had anxiety, that she was having a panic attack at the airport and needed medical attention, and that she could be human trafficked. I called the specialist and intern back. Both phones rang but neither picked up. Texted to see if they were able to rebook. No response. Forwarded them an email with our business travel info and after-hours contact and texted them that I sent the email. No response. Texted an hour or so later to see if they were okay. No response. Did not call the mom back. I also had a text from their director. Don't know her well, just started with the company a couple of weeks ago, asking what was going on. I sent her a brief overview and screenshots of all my unanswered texts to them from earlier in the day. along with a transcript of the voicemail I got from the mom. She acknowledged my response, but there was no further dialogue. Now I get an invite for a Monday morning meeting from that director with their VP and our C-suite leader. My VP is on PTO. I feel like these are adults. I was communicative, and I'm ultimately not responsible for their decisions. But you tell me, am I the a-hole here? Now for the top comments before reading the updates. They seem to have mistaken a business trip for a vacation. Also, they acted irresponsibly regarding time, dressing, and networking opportunities. None of this is your fault. You are not their mother. You treated them like the adults they are. The fact that they didn't act like adults is not on you, not the a-hole. After their behavior on this trip, I'll be surprised if they ever get a chance to go on another company-funded trip, let alone still have a job. And it's not like OP didn't do her duty in that she tried to communicate their obligations. But if she's being ignored at every turn, I can see where the company would see sending them anywhere else as a waste of company resources. Did they do anything work-related? I'd sack them. When we arrived on Thursday, they did attend the opening keynote speaker and a couple of breakout sessions. It just started to go downhill at the award ceremony reception. I think that OP went incredibly above and beyond here, considering that it was a work event she was receiving an award at, so to have these junior idiots causing any type of fuss was really an unnecessary hassle for her, when it should have been a personal celebration. Okay, thank you so much for saying this, because I took it out of my main post since it was so long already, but I made a short acceptance speech after getting the award. I worked really hard on it and practiced a lot. It was only about 90 seconds, but I asked the specialist and intern to film it for me because I wanted to share it with my team members who helped me with it. I left my phone with them and everything, but they forgot, and that kind of upset me. It's obviously not the end of the world, but like, come on. So they even failed at the only job you gave them with explicit instructions: film my speech, official speech at official event. Definitely worth including in your bullet points. Now for the first update. Here's my update after my meeting this morning. If there is a better place or way to post it that won't get me in Reddit jail, let me know. Meeting over. Chief Marketing Officer didn't join. It was the other VP and director, plus the internship coordinator who is in HR. The VP asked all the questions. It was over Teams, on camera, recorded, and almost comically formal, like I was being deposed or something. During the meeting, I was asked to recap what happened, starting from when we arrived. I was prepared and had all my key points. I kept it factual about my actions, with no speculation on their actions. I shared my phone screen live, went through the text messages with timestamps, and played the voicemail from the specialist's mom. I was asked if I had requested or encouraged the specialist to put any expenses on her purchasing card. This question took me by surprise. I said I didn't even ask or consider that she had a P card. And besides the lift from the airport to the hotel, which I scheduled and paid for, I was never outside the hotel or official conference activities with either the specialist or intern. That would have required any sort of payment. I did say I would consider it to be her line manager's responsibility to make sure she understood our travel and expense policies prior to traveling. I was asked if at any point I had reached out to anyone at the office about anything that was transpiring. I said no, I certainly intended to when I returned, but we are talking about everything that happened within a roughly 32-hour window, all while I was trying to focus on what I was sent there to do: participate as a panel member at the conference, attend other presentations, take advantage of face-to-face time with our agency, and accept my award. I said I felt it was reasonable to believe any other attendees would have expectations for participation and outcomes set by their leadership team, especially when coming from another department where I wouldn't be knowledgeable about their goals and objectives. Similarly, if there were different expectations of me based on other company attendees, I would expect that to be clearly communicated in advance. I was not asked if I thought the intern and/or specialist should receive any sort of reprimand, and I didn't feel comfortable trying to interject something like that based on the flow of conversation. I'm under the impression that they're meeting with the specialist and intern separately, but my meeting was first. After the meeting, I debriefed with a trusted colleague who shared the following from Friday water cooler chats. I definitely offended the intern by pulling her aside about her outfit. She posted it to Snapchat with a caption about it, and some other interns and employees saw it. I'm dying to know what exactly it said, but my coworker said everyone who did see it agreed it was inappropriate for a work event. Allegedly, the specialist's mom had once called the previous director, who left, and the director in the meeting today replaced him, about the specialist's working hours. It is known that several months ago, the specialist was pulled off a high-profile project team. Apparently, when she was asked to put in some evening and weekend hours to meet a deadline, her mom called the director and complained. I don't know if I believe this to be true, but the mom stepping in could be a pattern. What I'm hoping helps validate my testimony is that separately on Friday, one of my agency partners I was with emailed my CMO about a conversation we had after the ceremony on Thursday evening with some ideas he had. Typical agency salesy stuff, but he also unknowingly corroborated my alibi on Thursday night. So, that's where we're at. Last night, I had convinced myself this all would result in me receiving a big apology or acknowledgement of wrongdoing, and that I shouldn't have had to deal with this, etc. But I didn't, which makes me feel this is still a bit unresolved. I did send all my notes to my VP on Sunday, but his PTO is medical related and I know he's not able to really check in, so I'm just keeping my head down until I hear anything else. Second update. This will be my final update. It's probably not going to be as juicy as you want it to be, but hopefully it provides some level of closure to this whole thing. This post will still be long because I generally have a problem with brevity, and I have big feelings about this whole experience. Here are the things I want to say. I bolded the topics so you can choose what interests you. Was I actually doxxed? Yes. While I received many incorrect guesses at my true identity, there were a couple that were correct. And holy crap, is that scary. I don't know what compels a person to go to such lengths to try and figure out who a random internet poster is, but maybe don't spend your time doing that. Unless it's someone threatening to a school or bomb a concert venue, of course, take those despicable monsters all the way down. But I'm just an elder millennial trying to navigate imposter syndrome in corporate America, pay my bills, and generally be a good person. So one day I can hopefully retire and rescue a borderline concerning number of geriatric Pomeranians. Very unworthy of your CIA caliber sleuthing. Please, make friendship bracelets or try diamond painting as a relaxing hobby instead. Or join the actual CIA and take down would-be school shooters and concert venue bombers. Has anyone from my job seen my post? Yes, in some form. More than one person, in fact. Perhaps naively, this was something I never even considered would happen. It's Reddit. It's anonymous, and everything is cycled through in about 24 hours, right? But as soon as the reaction videos started coming across my For You page, a People magazine, web article, and all the other ways, this thing took on a life of its own. Not gonna lie, had pretty severe panic about this. Like, wow, I handled the situation as best I could and came out relatively unscathed. But me seeking validation from internet strangers will be what takes me out in the end. So far, I have not been reprimanded over it, but I accept whatever comes of it. Not my most professional move to air out others, not most professional moves on the internet, and I will seek a healthier outlet in the future. Maybe I'll make friendship bracelets or try diamond painting. Will specialist and/or intern be fired? To my knowledge, they are both still employed, although today is the official last day for the entire summer intern cohort. I know how I would handle one of my team members if they did this, but I trust they would never, ever, ever, because they're sensible and smart and amazing, and probably reading this. But for these two, it's not up to me to decide. And while I take full accountability for bringing all gestures widely this on myself, I'm at a point where I would very much like to be excluded from this narrative within my actual place of work. In conclusion, for everyone who commented and sent such nice, supportive messages, thank you, sincerely. I did get some good advice, and I'm glad I could help you temporarily escape into someone else's work drama, provide HR training material for new employees on travel policies, Or maybe validate that whatever you did on your first work trip that creeps into your brain when you're trying to fall asleep at night wasn't actually that bad. I took the rest of the week off, which may seem like an overreaction, but sometimes weird stuff impacts you in ways you aren't prepared for. I'm going to use the time to rest, do a bit of reflection, and look at pictures of geriatric Pomeranians. I think I'm roughly the same age as OP, and I have been really taken aback by the number of people I've worked with who totally lack basic business etiquette. Yes, some things come with time, but others are just common sense, like a business trip is work, and should be treated with a similar attitude. Sounds like OP did the best possible thing to cover her butt, her job. I am a millennial too, was in my early 20s on my first business trip, and I was so afraid to do something wrong. I felt bad for going on a walk in the evening after every event was over LOL. And on my second trip, I was too afraid to use my company credit card to purchase some beer, while every other person was drinking wine and cocktails at an after-hours event. On my third trip, the boss himself spent a good amount on booze, and encouraged us to do it too, so no policy against it. I guess to this day, I'm one of the most well-behaved, cheapest employees my company ever sends on trips. I can't wrap my head around people misbehaving on company time when you're your company's representative. Last story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to swap dorms just because my roommate's boyfriend doesn't like me? I share a dorm with another girl, 18 female, and at first, things were fine. We weren't close, but we got along, splitting chores, watching a movie now and then. Then her boyfriend started coming over. At first, it was once or twice a week, which I didn't mind, but it quickly became every single day. He's here when I wake up, when I get back from class, and sometimes still here when I'm going to bed. He doesn't pay rent, doesn't help with anything, and clearly doesn't like me. I think it's because I don't flirt with him like some other girls do. He's made comments right in front of me like, "She's so uptight," or "I bet you've never had a boyfriend." Last week, my roommate told me he feels uncomfortable around me and asked if I could switch dorms so they could have more privacy. I said no, I pay rent just like she does, and I'm not moving because her boyfriend doesn't like me. She accused me of ruining her relationship, and now some mutual friends say I should move because they're in love. Since then, they've been whispering and laughing when I'm around, and I'll come back to find my stuff moved so they can take over the couch or table. I've been avoiding the dorm, but it's not right that I feel pushed out of my own home. I don't think it's fair for me to leave when I haven't done anything wrong. Am I the a-hole? Too bad, so sad. If the roommate cares that much about boy toy's comfort, she can leave. Honestly, that's how I feel too. If she's that worried about his comfort, maybe she should be the one packing. I'm not giving up my space just to make her boyfriend feel more at home than I do. Please find and speak to your RA. They can help you practice having a civil conversation with your roommate to resolve it among yourselves. If it ends up escalating, your RA already has an idea of what is going on to possibly mediate. Your roommate has the problem. If anyone is moving, she should move, but I'm guessing she thinks she will get a dorm room to herself. It won't happen. She will probably get a roommate like myself that barred my roommate's boyfriend from even coming to our room because he made me uncomfortable. Her boyfriend is firmly in the making you uncomfortable stage. Not the a-hole. You don't have to move. Screw them. And your roommate may be violating rules by having the boyfriend over all the time. Yep, I've actually started wondering if she's even allowed to have him over this much. It's gotten to the point where it feels like I have two roommates, and I never agreed to that. Not moving. They can deal. Talk to your RA or go higher up. He sounds like a creep.